What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back, and this is an Instagram post from an LGBTQ plus influencer, I suppose, named Matt XIV or perhaps Matt14. This guy has 1.4 million followers and nonstop propaganda. And they just are not holding back anymore. They are constantly saying the quiet part out loud at this particular point in time. And I saw this post because California Senator Scott Wiener, the creepiest man in all of American politics, reposted it, right? So this is a guy who is notorious for trying to lessen the penalties for kid diddlers. This is a guy who was trying to pay junkies to stay clean out in California, along with a laundry list of other weird, creepy stuff. And it is clear that his goal, now being, 50 or 60-year-old gay guy in politics, is to remove the rights of parents. So he agrees with this. Scott Wiener, a California senator, agrees with this. And these people are the ones that want to call regular folks extreme. It's all through the roof. So I guess he has screenshot a news article that says parents have the right to know if their child is LGBTQ plus. Now, Matt here says, no, they don't. If your kids don't come out to you, there's a reason why. And this guy he genuinely believes that if a parent doesn't capitulate to the indoctrination that he and his ilk are a part of, then they are the bad people. And the slides continue. So not only is there a reason why they didn't come out to you, but also with Pride Month right around the corner, we're supposed to be proud of these things and celebrate. It's all about tolerance. But now, for some reason, they're not so proud of it and they don't want the parents to know. Why is that? It's very similar to how we're constantly told that old white men are the problem, except for Joe Biden and Gavin Newsom. They're the good ones. Those are the white guys that are going to save you from the mean, racist white guys. None of it makes sense, but these people are so creative and so manipulative that they can convince people to believe two completely opposite things at the same time. Children are human beings, not property. They have the right to privacy. Parents have the right to know what their kids are willing to tell them and nothing more. So it's going to take you all 10 fingers and 10 toes to count the laundry list of things that most children are not allowed to do, that all children should not be allowed to do. And even if they were, it would have to be with a parent's permission. But for some reason, this one is excluded from that. So you can't change your race, but you can't change your gender. You can't change your age, but you can change your gender. Really, the only thing that you can change is your gender. We love it so much, but also if you do it, if you subscribe to what we're telling you, then you shouldn't tell your parents. And it goes without saying, but I think we all understand the concept of adults trying to keep secrets with children. He goes on to say, provide your kids with an environment that's safe and welcoming, and they will tell you who they are. So you need to change a little bit. As a parent, you need to capitulate to this weirdo extremist ideology, and then your son or daughter will be convinced that you are not the bad person we told them you were, right? So all they're trying to do here is drive a wedge even further between the parents and the child. And this, the gaslighting and the projection is just through the roof on this, right? So here he posts a little slide of a meme cartoon of some NPC characters, I guess. Mom, Dad, I'm gay, while they're standing on the fence. And then the unsupportive parents, right? It's not a parent that's going to ask questions. It's not a parent that's going to really try to understand what's happening and shoot the kid straight and tell them what's actually real. It's just immediately unsupportive parents coming from who I can assume is a weirdo gay guy who doesn't have kids. So he's laying the blame on the parents of the kids he's trying to indoctrinate because, of course, he will not be able to have kids himself. This is just, it's absolutely bizarre. Then there's this other slide Don't worry, we support you. That's the rainbow mob and the trans mob. They support you. And then the parents mad because they're grooming. So he is laying the blame square on the parents for not immediately accepting what some weirdo teacher or some TikToker or some other Instagram influencer is foisting on their child. So this guy truly believes that he has earned the right of your child's identity. And he goes on to post a couple more news headlines here. NC State Senate passes LGBTQ bill requiring teachers to out trans students to parents. Think about that headline alone. Requiring. What else would a teacher be required to tell a parent about a student? Maybe if they got into a fight, maybe if they hit a home run, maybe if they got an A on a test, maybe if they got an F on a test, maybe if, there's all of these things that could happen at school that a teacher is expected to tell a parent. But subscribing to their ideology, even though we're constantly told that you're supposed to be proud of it, is not one of them. That should raise a red flag, to say the least. Ohio bill could mandate sharing students' info even if teachers suspect parental. So they've jumped the shark already to parental abuse. There's nothing else that could be happening. If one parent doesn't agree that their kid, if one parent doesn't agree with the indoctrination that this weirdo influencer and a handful of weirdo teachers are foisting on the children, then they immediately jump to parental abuse, even though there may be no evidence of that, right? If a teacher suspects it. So if an indoctrination teacher suspects abuse from a parent, they are immediately in the right, according to this guy. It's just ridiculous. Policies mandating that teachers out their LGBTQ students to parents will promote abuse and nothing more. Think about this. This is par for the course, right? Because everything with this cult is always life and death, right? Don't wear a mask, life and death. Don't get the shot, life and death. Drive a truck, life and death. And this is the next best thing. If you don't agree with us, and they will say that if you don't let your kids cut their junk off, it's life and death. But now he's saying that if a parent doesn't agree, that's tantamount to abuse. And then he goes on. Students who feel safe coming out to their parents will. Students who hide their identity from their parents are doing so for a reason. So this guy clearly has all the answers, and the parents are obviously in the wrong. California bill would compel teachers to out transgender students to their parents. And this, of course, is all using the premise that there's even such thing as a transformer child, which there is not. They're only created by people like this. And now he's obviously mad that their agenda is seeping, because this is why they get mad at libs of TikTok as well. It's like they post these things in a public forum, but it's only for their audience, right? So you can see it and you can see it, but somebody who doesn't agree, they shouldn't be allowed to see it. So we want to foist it onto your kids, but we know that you don't agree, so you're not allowed to see it. And if you do see it, and if you do take issue with it, then of course it's the same thing as abuse. Iowa House GOP introduces bill requiring teachers to tell parents about LGBTQ students. So they are really mad that parents are going to have a say in what they're doing. So they're mad. They've spent the last 10 or 15 or maybe even 20 years. It's happened pretty quickly in the grand scheme, right? If you say 15 years, it seems like a long time, but it's really not. For this to go from 0 to 100 in 10 to 15 years is all absolutely absurd, right? There was a time when these things were jokes, when a man dressed up like a woman was a joke, and now they're foisting it on kids and telling the parents that if they don't accept it, then that is basically the same thing as child abuse. It's all absolutely through the roof, and I think there's always this argument of incompetence or malice. And in this particular case, I think this person might actually believe this. That doesn't make it any less evil, but I think they actually believe they have been manipulated so much, and that's why he is trying to manipulate so many more people, because his brain is basically leaking out of his ears right now, telling people that if you don't let your kid cosplay as the opposite gender, then you are the abusive one. Meanwhile, they are the people that have spent the last decade or so pounding these people, beating people over the head with propaganda. You are not entitled to information your child doesn't feel ready to share. If you find yourself coercing your child into coming out to you or demanding that their school provides you information about their identity, ask yourself why they didn't tell you in the first place and what that suggests about your parenting. So you are a bad parent. And this guy wants to say that if you find yourself coercing kids, bro, those are their children. You are the one coercing people. You are the one telling them that it's cool. You are the one posting a little cartoon, convincing them that it's their parents' fault, right? You are the one that placed this seed for the most part, right? It's TikTokers and, of course, teachers. And yes, some parents are guilty of this, and I don't think the parents that are guilty of this are, obviously those aren't the parents that he's talking about. He's talking about a regular person who understands the truth. But, of course, the truth has no place in this cult. And then he's got some weird nonsensical tweet from some other random influencer, I suppose. In like 10 years, there's going to be 100 million Americans whose kids straight up don't talk to them. Like, not even just the kids who were gay. Anyone who had put up with one of these culture war soldiers as a parent for more than a year. So anybody who is standing up to their ideology because they can't get out of the bubble that there might be a different point of view in the world, in the country. I don't even know what this tweet is supposed to mean. It's just a random dude who is clearly parroting his talking point, so he posted it. If you want to know if your child is LGBTQ, create an environment where they'll feel comfortable telling you. So just go with the facade. Go with the fake, backwards, bizarro world. Go with all the stuff that we're telling you is true. Go with all the lies, all the manipulation. Go with that. And then your kid will tell you, what pronouns they're using. And this, of course, is his Zimzer's account. Matt XIV, of course, blue check, 1.4 million followers on Instagram alone, which is just ridiculous. So this guy clearly has some pull, and it's just crazy that this is allowed, right? You remember a time where you couldn't even basically say the words Bruce Jenner, and that could get you kicked off the internet. And now this guy is telling you that parents are in the wrong if they don't immediately cave to the indoctrination that teachers are foisting upon children. And this flies, right? And then another one really quickly from this guy's account. We need to stop caving to a tiny group of loud, hateful idiots. He can't tell. He doesn't know. He's on the opposite side of this coin and doesn't realize that all of the projection is exactly what they're doing. Every single thing that he's blaming on somebody else is exactly what they're doing. And he has no idea, right? Like, well, if your kid doesn't come out to you, then the parents are the problem. No, it's you. You are the problem who are putting this weirdo stuff in their ear. And the majority of people don't want to see this. No matter what the media tells you, no matter what Netflix or the television or Twitter or TikTok or Instagram tells you, most people do not agree with this because they know the truth. We just haven't got far enough along, right? And that's part of the reason why he's so angry, is that you need another 30 years to indoctrinate people into believing this, because there's still people old enough to see clear through this, and they don't like that. And then last one here from this guy's account. This is about the Dodgers thing, right? Dodgers take a stand, okay? So don't market to us during Pride if you won't actually take a stand for us. So there's never going to be enough is the point. No matter what happens. It's like that one video where the girl is walking through the bar and says, this guy says I look like a they, them, and I hate that he was right. It will never be enough. You will always have to jump through another hoop. You will always have to eat another little bit of their droppings. There will never, ever, ever come a day where they will say, all right, this is good. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. That won't happen. Just like we saw with Rona. There's never going to come a day where they're going to say, all right, it's completely over. You don't have to worry about it. Now, they're getting a little bit close because the House of Cards is falling down and Fauci has obviously been implicated and everybody can kind of see through it. But there will never come a day where they will say, wow, maybe we were a little heavy-handed on that. We apologize. Let's all go back to normal. That won't happen. And there will never, ever come a day where this LGBT, BBQ, CIA plus mob will say, that was good. We appreciate what you did. Thank you so much. We're all moving forward now. That will never happen because that's not what they want to happen. They want to have a grievance. They want to be angry, and they want to constantly have a victim card, and that's what they're going to have. So even though this guy has 1.4 million followers and is telling you that you're the problem if your kid doesn't want to come out to you, at the same time, they're telling you you should be proud about all of this stuff. So none of it makes any sense. And like I said, their only goal is to gain full and complete control no matter which way that is, right? So if they have to make up another victim card, they're going to do that. If they have to say it's life and death, they're going to do that. There's a whole bunch of different ways that they can just gain more power and control. Now, fortunately, I do think glass half full, the pendulum might be swinging back. Obviously, the Bud Light stuff, obviously Target, North Face, all of these brands that are now, it's becoming clear that this sort of stuff is becoming toxic to most regular Americans. So it's far from over, but I think people are finally starting to say, all right, we've had enough. Let's go the other direction on this, maybe. But they're not going to go down with a fight. That much is true. So thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe.